Okay, in this episode I'm going to talk about do-it-yourself winterizing your chicken coop. Right now it's not as cold as Wisconsin, but it's still pretty cold and our chickens are in there right now. It is important to winterize your chickens, and even though our chickens are from Wisconsin and we're in Arkansas and it is nowhere near as cold, I'm assuming the chickens are going to get acclimated just like we are to this weather. And one of the biggest things is getting them ready for winter. This is a temporary setup because, believe it or not, we just have our chicken tractor. We do not have a chicken coop, and I'll get more into that a little bit later. First thing you want to do is identify weaknesses in your current coop or chicken tractor such as ours. Our biggest one was it's not very weather tight and it isn't insulated at all and it's out in the open. So that was our biggest weaknesses. And our old chicken coop that our chickens survived many extreme cold weather instances was not insulated, but it was out of the wind. Main thing you want to do though is protect from the wind and rain. So this current setup we have right now, we have the chicken tractor, and I'm going to step back here a little bit. And as you can see, it's in between the building and it's in between the round bales over there. So what we do with the chicken tractor, and there's actually some carpet on the ground. So I'm going to explain exactly why we do this. So when it's a typical Arkansas winter day, like today when it's not so cold, the chickens and the tractor are out and about in the yard. On a night like tonight when it's going to drop off and it's damp, we do usually wrap them up in a tarp, and then we push in the chicken tractor into this location. And then where that rug is, we throw, because generally the chickens are just on the ground and they have, you know, the grass and whatnot. There they don't. So we put some wood chips and put the tarp over it to help with because it was windy and rainy earlier. And then the round bale, it's a windbreak. So they have two windbreaks on either side. I'm going to show you that right now. As you can see right now, they have the round bales. There's two of them actually, right there. They have the round bales that are protecting them on one side. Over here on this side, the metal of the building itself is protecting them. And then on the ground, we have the carpet. That just makes it easier for us to clean up, because otherwise they'd be on gravel. And this way we put down wood shavings and then they can, and hay, and they can use that. And then we're going to take, once we move them out of here daily, we take all that waste that's underneath on the carpet and then we bring it over to the garden. But right now we put a tarp over this. The normal Alumi coops have a rain cover on it. This is just a little bit more weather tight for damp weather like this, because it's cold, but it's not freezing cold, but it's damp. And the chickens are not as used to the damp, cold this time of the year. One of the things our chicken coop does not have is insulation. We've tossed this idea over and over, trying to look at different options. For the chicken tractors themselves, there's really no good way to insulate it beside adding insulated walls around it, which we did. The big thing is we don't use heaters for our chickens. I've always heard the stories from other farmers and homesteaders that if you use a heater and it's really cold out and then the heater stops working, the chickens will probably die. And we've had chickens survive in negative temperatures in Wisconsin just in an uninsulated building, as long as they have a good roost and they're out of the wind. But our current plans are to make a new chicken coop for the winter with a chicken run and not use the chicken tractor. Chicken tractor is a lot of work. We have to move it around every day. And in the winter, there's not as much on the ground for the chickens to eat, and you sometimes have to move them a little bit more often. But I'll show you what we're going to end up using for the new chicken coop. Okay, if you can see behind me, we have this shed back there. It actually has electricity, and it's non-insulated, and it's just used for some storage right now. We're planning on converting this to the new chicken coop. It's going to be done pretty soon. as soon as our main second barndominium is finished being spray foamed, we're going to take the small items that we have in there that are in storage, move them to the other building, and then convert this to the chicken coop. And it's only going to be used in the winter. Summertime, chickens are going to be 100% in tractors, but we wanted this for the winter, and we're probably going to just insulate it with the silver reflective insulation. I've actually pulled it out of the other building. It's kind of like a 1/4 inch thick foam with some reflective on it, but I'll show you inside of here right now. Okay, as you can see in there, there's just some totes and different things, but there's lights in there. There is actually no insulation whatsoever. So we're thinking about putting that silver foam in the ceiling, and that way when we do use this in the summertime as a storage for like the feed and things like that, it won't be so hot in there. And it will help a little bit in the winter, retain some of the heat. Okay, we're gonna keep this vent over here in the back, and then retain this light in here, and then we're gonna put in between the 2x4 studs, just gonna put some of that reflective silver in there. I'm still determining, I've read different things. I've read that the insulation should go in here like that, and I've also read that you staple it here across the studs and leave an air gap, and I'm leaning more on that. I don't know if anybody else has had some experience with that type of thing and insulating a small shed like that, but it will hopefully help us out. Because a lot of this stuff that's in here right now is just small, you know, just things that we didn't have room for in the house. It doesn't need to be temperature controlled. So far I've had some mouse traps in here. It's pretty tight. I haven't had any mice in here, and it's I got electricity ran in here. I will possibly convert, and there is actually no outlet in here. I may put a small outlet in here in case we need a water heater for the chickens. So the big essentials for winterizing your chickens, if you can, get them out of the wind, get them out of the rain or snow, and then you're probably going to need a heated water source. So currently right now we have an electric plug-in water bucket for the chickens, and that is one item that regardless of where your chickens are raised, if it gets cold and freezing temperatures, they can generally handle the cold, but the water they're going to need to be not frozen. So that's probably the one item. If anybody has an off-grid solution for watering water that doesn't freeze, let me know. We're still trying to come up with that. And we're still trying to come up with the layout for this to become the chicken shelter. We're still not sure if we should do 50-50, divide this in half, where the chickens get half, and then we can come in one door and just kind of work with them, or if they should just get the run of this whole building. Our old chicken coop on our old property was twice the size of this, and they had the run of the whole thing. And it was, I felt it was wasted space. There was a lot of room that could have been used for storage of their grains and things like that. So that's one of the reasons I think I want to keep this as a half storage, half chicken coop, but we don't know yet. We're still trying to figure that out. You probably also want to have, like I was stating, when you have the windbreak, get them out of the wind, the rain, probably some additional bedding though. We usually put extra straw in there. Even a lot of times we'll just put some hay in there too, because then they'll end up eating a lot of the stuff in the hay. And then wood chips also is a good thing, because of, you know, there's gonna be waste in the ground and things like that, and it'll help insulate the floor. I am planning on this building insulating the floor. I believe that is the most important though. And what we did in our old chicken coop, we're gonna do the same thing in here, is the floor is sealed right now with the coating on it, but it won't last very long. So what we did is we got some linoleum floor from Lowe's, Home Depot, Menards. We get the cheapest one and we lay it down on the floor and just staple it around the perimeter. That way it's 100% waterproof. You know, they can spill water on it, their waste on there, everything, and you don't have to worry about it. It seals the floor from drafts if you have a drafty, because these are off, this shed is actually off the ground. And my plan is to put some of that silver foam underneath it and then add that linoleum. But if you ever look at that flooring, it's actually about an 1/8 inch, it's almost like foam too, so it adds a little bit insulating layer in there. So hopefully this is helpful. This is more of a just a quick how-to, and maybe some of you can help me with some of the gaps that we're having in our winterizing plan, because this is the first time we don't have a chicken coop, and we're using the chicken tractors and the windbreak, and we're also relying on the fact that the weather is not as extreme here. So hopefully this was helpful, and until next time, thanks again.
Like and subscribe.